people power. 100,000 protesters force MPs to debate walking out of EU Article 50 talks. Despite EU leaders agreeing to move Brexit negotiations onto trade, there is growing frustration with the whole process, including a mammoth divorce bill of up to £39 billion. But there are more tough talks to come, with Theresa May being warned of a torrid time when negotiations resume in March after a long delay. As patience runs out, there has seen a surge in support for an online petition on the Parliament website calling for Britain to tell Brussels it wants no deal and leave right away. Signatures have now soared past 100,000, which means it must be considered for debate in Parliament. The campaign is asking Theresa May to give up on the entire Article 50 process instead of subjecting herself to more humiliation by Brussels chiefs. UKIP MEP Gerard Batten rejoiced at the increase in support, tweeting, "The petition to make Parl debate ditching Article 50 and leaving on our terms, not the EU's, is now over 100k and it will take place. Great news." The petition was submitted by Midlands voter Jack Taylor in September, calling for the government to unilaterally declare it was leaving immediately. It states, "The government should walk away from the Article 50 negotiations and leave the EU immediately with no deal. The EU looks set to offer us a punishment deal out of spite. Why wait another 18 months when we could leave right away and fully take back control of our country, lawmaking powers and borders?" Mr. Taylor explained, "The EU looks set to offer us a punishment deal out of spite, insisting we pay tens of billions of pounds as part of a settlement fee and continue to accept the jurisdiction of EU courts even after we've left." Meanwhile, pro-EU MPs in Labour, the Lib Dems and the SNP, along with unelected lords, are attempting to block Brexit. The longer we remain a member, the more opportunity they have to interfere. Why wait almost another 2 years when we could just leave right away? His petition will remain open for signatures until next March, when talks with the EU are expected to begin again. In its response to the petition, the Department for Exiting the EU said, "The government has already introduced legislation to ensure the UK exits the EU with certainty, continuity and control. A smooth and orderly exit is in the national interest and further legislation will be introduced to deliver that. Both the UK and the EU should want to achieve the best possible outcome and the strongest possible partnership for the future. The government believes that a deep and special partnership between an independent UK and the EU is in the interests of both sides." It added, "The country voted to leave the EU, and the government is clear that there must be no attempts to remain inside the EU, no attempts to rejoin it through the back door, and no second referendum. In leaving the EU, the government will seek the best deal for the UK, maximizing the benefits from leaving the EU, control over our borders, laws and money, while maintaining the greatest possible access to EU markets and continuing to work with our European neighbors on common problems." After withdrawal, the UK will bring an end to the direct jurisdiction of the Court of Justice of the European Union, CJU, in the United Kingdom. The Prime Minister has been clear that the days of Britain making vast contributions to the European Union every year will end. The European Commission has set out the European Union's position on the financial settlement, and the government is undertaking a rigorous examination of the detail of this.